Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. So, I'm doing a 2025 message for air signs Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You could have you could have these placements in your sun, moon, Venus. I like to include North Node. That's pretty significant in your chart. Um, but it could be in any planetary placement. And yeah, so just if you're here and you're watching this and you're being called to, there's probably a message in here for you. So I'm pulling from a few different decks for these readings. So I already pulled some cards and I haven't read them and gotten into it yet, but just to let you know, I have already pre-pulled some cards. So without further ado, I'm going to take a step aside to let spirit pass through. All right. All right, spirit, what do the air signs need to know about 2025? All right. So, okay. So, the three cards I pulled from the Transformation Oracle by Sonya Shannon are Purification, Perspective, and Resolution. So, I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'll show them to you individually. And then we'll get into the meanings. All right. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Okay. So, first and foremost, peacocks could be significant. You could be seeing peacocks. You could be getting symbolism about peacocks, peacock feathers, something of that nature. The peacock really stood out to me on the purification card. What this card is really symbolizing is deep inner work. So, this is like transformational purification. Um, the peacock eats venomous snakes and transmutes the venom and then turns that into that's where it gets some of the coloring for its tail. And then with her holding the world, what this is really talking about, this is that as above, so below kind of energy. And it's really when you're doing deep inner work, you will see that reflected out in your outer world as well. And so if you haven't been seeing much changing in your outer world, I would definitely expect to see some of those changes to take place in the upcoming year. And with that, the next card is perspective. And so, what this could be as well is there could be a need to do a slight perspective shift on something. It's about looking at things through a childlike perspective. And it's really talking about pulling out of tunnel vision. And so sometimes when we're in a situation and we're seeing it from only one angle, it can feel a certain way. What came up was like a victim type energy. So that could be significant for somebody. So if you've been feeling kind of stuck in a victim like energy, the recommendation is to take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. And oftentimes, when we're in, especially that victim energy, when we take a step back and we look at it, we can understand that a lot of the situations that happen where we feel like we're a victim, or sometimes when you actually have been victimized, those situations oftentimes are the most transformational. Um, that's where a lot of it's that concept of where the light enters the wound. Basically, I just botched that a little bit, but it's a quote by Rumi, I believe. And what it's talking about is when you've been wounded, it's a place to heal. And when we go through that healing process, that allows light in. And that's really this spiritual journey, this ascension process. That's really, really prevalent in this journey. And so it's about looking at it from a slightly different perspective so that you can pull out of those limiting beliefs and those limiting mindsets. And then really you take the power back and the control back of yourself and of your life experience. And then that's when you can really step into that conscience creating energy and start to really manifest what you want instead of manifesting by default. The other card that came out here was resolution, and this is talking about deep, deep inner healing. And so this is oftentimes significant of healing inner wounds. Um, do I want to say trigger warning? This can be really healing sexual trauma. So this is about really being able to release yourself from those experiences that have been holding you back. And so when we have especially childhood wounds that are unhealed, there's a part of us that stays there basically. And then that's where the inner child isn't feeling safe. And all of a sudden we start experiencing things in our life that are reflections of that unhealed trauma. And so this is about doing that deep, deep, deep inner work and really coming to a resolution and healing and being able to release the hold that that situation or those situations have on us. So this is really profound, deep inner healing. And so this is what's taking place for you over this next year is this is really there's a lot of spiritual work happening and a lot of purifying those experiences that once had a hold on you and allowing them to help accelerate your growth and put you on a trajectory of your highest timeline basically. So that's really good. That's good energy. I like it. I like it. All right, air signs, let's see. Okay, so the next deck that I pulled from was the Woodland Wardens deck, and quite a few cards came out for you. So let's see here. Are those in reverse? Okay, so I'm going to read those from the book because I'm not familiar with the reversal meanings on a lot of these. These ones don't come out in reverse a whole lot, so oftentimes that's pretty significant when they do. Okay, so the first one that came out was the butterfly and snowdrop, and the message here is hope. So I'm really that really goes into the cards that came out with the transformation oracle just a minute ago. This is that metamorphosis energy and this is that energy of really allowing yourself to transform. Then we also have the weasel and pine, which is introspection. And so that kind of goes hand in hand with that deep spiritual work and that deep like childhood healing. So that's that definitely goes hand in hand with that. The next one that came out was the bat and hellbore, which is intuition. So you could be really you could be getting leveled up basically. That sounds weird. In the realm of your intuition. So your intuition could really be on fire um in the next year. And then dreams. So the Cayman and Poppy came out, which is dreams. And so definitely pay attention to your dreams, which especially with intuition. Oftentimes when you're really tapping into your psychic gifts, they will start really amping up in your dream state, and then you'll find that they start to come forward more in your waking life. So really pay attention to your dreams. And then I'm going to see what these ones in reverse mean. We've got the skunk and magnolia, which is protection. Okay. So in reverse, it says self-protection can hinder growth. You may be misinterpreting a situation and acting defensively. Ask yourself why you feel the need for armor. Could greater vulnerability benefit you? Okay, so you could be which again, when you're healing those deep inner wounds, oftentimes what happens is a wall will go up a little bit because we're tapping into some deep rooted things. Um, deep rooted wounds basically. And so sometimes that armor can go up and we don't even realize it. So you could be being asked to really pay attention to that. And if you feel yourself throwing up that extra armor, just ask yourself if it's really needed or if it's an attempt to protect from further being wounded. And oftentimes it's this, when we do that and we throw up this extra set of defenses, what we're actually doing is we're sending out a message that's now attracting situations that you need to have your armor raised for. And so that's just a little bit of something to be mindful of is when you throw out that extra defense and you don't need it, you could put yourself in situations where then all of a sudden it feels like you do, if that makes sense. When in reality it's tapping more into the vulnerability that really allows you to fully complete that healing cycle. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. All right. The next one that came out in reverse was the porcupine and anemone, which is boundaries. Okay. Nope. Oh, that is 20. So it says, take care not to judge others who seem bristly or closed off. Consider that they may have good reason to protect themselves from harm. Respect their boundaries, allowing them time to open up on their own terms. Okay, so yeah, if you come into situations where others may feel like they have their boundaries up really high or their walls up really high, instead of trying to forcefully take that wall down or jump over it, take a step back and again with that perspective card, maybe look at it from their perspective and see there might be something there that is causing them to have those boundaries. Anything else on that, spirit? Mm, okay, read that one. All right. So I'm being guided to read the butterfly as well from the book for y'all. Okay. The butterfly and snowdrop, two symbols of spring, remind us that winter will soon end and hope is on the horizon. The egg stage, the, the egg stage of the butterfly is so humble, and the full grown butterfly so astounding the process can feel like magic. The snowdrop has a bit of magic about it as well. It's one of the first flowers to appear toward the end of winter, signifying brighter, longer days are just around the corner. So, this is a period of hardship coming to a close, and better days are ahead. Take heart in signs of the coming thaw. Okay, so yeah, I'm really getting that energy of being hopeful and that something I'm really picking up a long cycle of has is coming to an end. And with this childhood healing coming up, for some of you I'm picking up that you're literally coming to the end of like major cycles. Um, this could be something like coming out of codependency completely, like that major, where for the first part of your life up until now, you've acted and done things in a certain way because of childhood wounds. And then now you're coming to this place where you're completely closing that cycle and now you're stepping up into like the literal whole new you, and really merging with your higher self. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so the next deck that I pulled from is the Herbal Astrology. And the first one that came out is Sage, which is blessing. Oh, making sure there's no nudity. Kind. So the message of this card is blessing, purification, invocation, sacred gift, spiritual cleansing, reassembling emotional body, and mystical insight. Sage, like the moon card in the tarot, is the great portal to the river of life. The silver light of sage grants us the power of insight while we navigate the darkest hours. The lunar powers of sage remind us to look inward to receive visionary insight from spirit. Don't get overly consumed by emotional interplay, allow it to pass like the clouds. Draw upon the inner reserves of your psyche to navigate darkness and become keenly aware of what is causing inner disturbances, fear, and unhappiness. The initiation you are undergoing, although unfamiliar, is a great blessing. Feel yourself seize and reassemble as you break illusions to unearth hidden truths. Surrender, don't stand in your own way. Allow the silvery white light of sage to shatter illusions as you undergo a great awakening. That's beautiful. Okay, so the next one that came out is Rhodiola, which is wisdom. And there is a unicorn on there, which is magical awesomeness. Okay, I actually haven't seen this card yet in this deck. Well, just in general. All right, so it's magic, wisdom keeper, purity, higher consciousness, clarity, intuitive intellect, and enchantment. The unicorn is known as the great protector of the forest. Like rhodiola, some unicorns are said to live near high mountains to this day, nourishing and protecting the wise and ancient forests left. Rhodiola is in your cards today to remind you that you are intelligence embodied. Intuitive, articulate, and knowledgeable. You exude mastery, wisdom, purity, authority, and wisdom. Emotions do not cloud your judgment. Your actions are measured carefully and intuitively as you contain ancient codes on the ways of heaven and earth. The subtle essence of the unicorn resides in the third eye. If unicorn medicine comes to you, your sense of wise creativity and aliveness will deepen. Don't neglect your medicine. Honor your natural gifts, stand tall, own your medicine and who you are becoming. So I'm picking up like a big transformation. Um yeah, I'm picking up big energy for you. Um this is the energy of like stepping into your psychic gifts and abilities, of stepping into a completely new version of yourself. Like I'm picking up like a big shift in your energy. Okay, the next here we go. The next one is echinacea, which is destiny. Wheel of change, life cycles, destiny, bigger vision, fortune, and fate. The snake eating its tail, the Ouroboros, is the wheel of change, resembling the cycles of life and death. The sun and moon orbit and spin the wheel of change, representing our earthly domain. The echinacea, sprouting in the center, represents evolutionary consciousness, unbound by the confines of destiny like the wheel of fortune. This card may signal a twist of fate, a time where something in life shifts us and reorients us elsewhere. Echinacea has showed up in your cards to remind you that the universe is always in motion and nothing is by accident. The key to see through the cycles of destiny is to remain centered and fluid, flowing with the course of life. The elusive judgments of good and bad only limits the vision of the great understanding. Step back and observe the great vision at play and be unbound by the passing influences. Okay, that is nudity on this one. All right, so we have St. John's wort, which is radiance. Then I'm covering up, that looks like a little sparrow, but there we go. Like an awkward hold. Okay. So this card symbolizes joy, warmth, resilience, happiness, understanding, manifestation, spiritual power, and protection. The Midsummer Goddess celebrates the multifaceted elements of life in a state of joyous abundance, reminding us that the wellspring of true wealth and healing is within. St. John's wort is here to remind you to cultivate practices deep within yourself to experience this enlightening truth. Avoidance and distraction from this great knowing are unconscious habits that build up and manifest as scarcity, fear, and low moods that inhibit you from walking your truth. St. John's wort grants us the spiritual courage of fire needed to navigate the death of the old self. Again, yeah, I'm picking up major, massive transformation. Um, like this is big. This feels, yeah, the energy just hit. Like this is this is big transformation energy. So in like a beautiful, beautiful way. This is that energy of like of healing and really stepping into your best version. This is beautiful. I'm so excited for you, air signs. I'm so excited. All right, and so that was awesome because it did touch on abundance in that card. And the next deck that I pulled from was the Abundance Angels deck. So let's see what is your energy for finances. So we've got gratitude list. Counting your blessings and feeling grateful for what you already have helps you to be centered in your heart instead of fixated on worries in your mind. What and who are you grateful for right now? Keep focusing upon gratitude and you'll discover the amazing generosity of the universe. The next one is focus on your priorities. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you, which may produce a feeling of anxiety unless you give them the time and attention they and you deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you feel better and more confident. And so that could be where this perspective card is coming out as well, is maybe there needs to be a little perspective shift in your financial aspect of life. And instead of looking at responsibilities and things like that as a burden, look at them as, if you shift it to an I get to mentality, it's another way to add gratitude into it as well. And it's instead of like, oh, I have to do this, shift it to I get to. This is an example that just came up. So a lot of us dread going to the DMV. But do you remember when you first started driving and you went to get your permit? Or when you first went and got your driver's license? Most of us, that was like one of the most exciting days ever, was I get to go to the DMV and get my driver's license. Um, so get shifting it a little bit, and instead of like dreading it, looking at it from a different perspective and saying something like I get to go to the DMV and renew my license, it can help shift some of that energy instead of it being so like dreadful and frustrating and like, oh, I have to pay my bills. Like I get to pay my bills. I get to, you know, put some of my energy into having a home, having food, having, all these things. And again, switching it, as a kid wanting to go to the store and buy something is extremely exciting. And so tapping into that energy of I get to go grocery shopping and I get to cook and prepare food. I get to clean my kitchen. It's a way of shifting the energy so it doesn't feel dreadful. And instead it's more of a I get to do these things. So there's a little side note for someone. And then the last one that came out for this deck is deservingness. You are a beloved child of the divine, like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus upon your divine life purpose. Even if you can't yet recognize your lovable qualities, trust that the divine and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. That's beautiful. Love that. And again, with switching perspectives, if you can look at yourself through the eyes of spirit as this beautiful creation that gets to create in whatever form that is for you, that can help shift out of some of these kind of lower vibrational energies. Ultimately, though, I'm picking up that those are just little reminders, because I'm really picking up that you are in this energy of just massively shifting, which is awesome. All right, so the last deck that wants to be read from is the Angel Tarot. So we're going to flippity flip through these two and see what comes out. Alrighty, air signs. Ultimately, I'm taking up like this is going to be a great year for you. This is going to be, obviously, there's always trials and tribulations and things that, we don't deem ideal from our human perspective. On the norm, though, I'm picking up like really good energy. All right, so we have the Lovers. That one in reverse? Is that one in reverse? Okay, so the Lovers actually came out in reverse. Well, it kind of came out sideways, so not quite reverse. So, okay, I got it. Thank you, Spirit. So, because there's multiple timelines, that's why it flipped out sideways. So, for some of you, there's going to be a shift in one direction when it comes to regards to your romantic relationship. In other timelines, it's going to shift in the other direction. So take what resonates, use your discernment. But there's something of a greater focus when it comes to your romantic relationship. So if you're in a romantic relationship, that could be leveling it up, taking it to the next step, maybe getting married, something like that. It could be maybe you're at this point where, on the flip side of that, if you're on another timeline, it could be where you have done so much healing and so much inner work, and you are in this purification process of really stepping up into a new version of yourself. And then what that does is that, when you change your vibration, if you're in a relationship, you can kind of vibe out of resonance with the person you're in a relationship with. And so that can, lead to a couple different things. Obviously, there can be just no longer a resonance and it's time to part ways. That can also be, this is just a little side note for somebody where I'm really feeling called to speak on this. So, when we're on this ascension journey, what happens is oftentimes, if you're in a relationship, you and your partner are not going to ascend and transform at the exact same pace. Even if it's a divine counterpart relationship. And so what happens is one of you will go through some healing, go through some changes, go through some transformations, and then you'll start to vibrate at a different frequency. And then your partner is vibrating at, a different frequency, basically. And the best thing that I've found in my experience with this is as difficult as it can be, step back from trying to push your partner to match you at your vibration and allow them to do so naturally and organically on their own, because it's either going to happen or it's not, and that's not something you have direct control over. And so by you releasing that expectation and not putting that expectation on the other person, you're actually giving them the freedom to go through their own journey and their own transformation process and match you at this new vibration. And then if it's, and you've got to come up with your own boundaries and stuff like this, because, if it's been 10 years and they're still not anywhere near the vibration that you're at, and they're not doing the work and so on and so forth, you might need to reevaluate the relationship. If it's been a month, give them some time, because it's that we're on an ascension journey, and we go through our own healing cycles at different times. And so by releasing that expectation and that attachment on that other person to meet you at your new vibration, it allows you to also anchor in that new vibration. And then it gives them the space and the growth and the space and the ability to grow and to match you if they so choose to. And so it's really about releasing the control over that as well. Okay. Then for um the other portion of you who are single, this could definitely be a sign that your divine counterpart is coming in within this next year. So if that is the case, uh just allow it. That's my biggest little piece of advice there, is to really allow that to come in if that's what you have been manifesting. Okay, the other card that came out was the Five of Fire, which is competing goals and conflict with others. So the Five of Fire is the Five of Wands in like the normal tarot. Um and being that that's with the Lovers card, there could be some conflicts that arise within your relationship, within with your person. Um so and then we kind of talked about that a little bit. I don't feel like there's anything else that needs to come out on that. No? Okay. The next one that came out is Ten of Air. The end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. This can also be recovery from an addiction as well. Okay, just a second. Been talking for a while. I needed to get a little audible. Okay, so Ten of Air is also Ten of Swords in tarot, if you're familiar with it. End of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Again, I really don't feel like there's anything else that's coming out about that. And it could be too, because there's so many different timelines. So just flip that how it fits in your life. But if you've been experiencing something that's been super challenging, and again, this goes hand in hand with that really completing a cycle thing. And so I'm really picking up, if you've been in a challenging, difficult cycle or situation, it's coming to an end within the next year. And some of you, again, we're on multiple different timelines. So some of you, it's going to be the beginning of the year, some middle, some more towards the end. Just flip it how it fits for you. But yeah, I'm really picking up that you're really coming into the end of like a super difficult cycle. And for some of you, this is a cycle that you've been in like for as long as you can remember. Kind of like I'm picking up, this is a big long cycle that you're closing out, which is awesome. All right. Anything else, Spirit? Okay. Holy moly guacamole. Okay. Anything else? All righty. They're talking to you today. Okay. So let's see. How are we gonna look at this? Am I taking all of these? All right. Sure am. So the first ones that came out on that little shuffle was we've got the Emperor, which on this deck is Archangel Michael. So that could be confirmation for someone. You could feel the presence of Archangel Michael. You could be being asked to work more closely with Archangel Michael, or just know that you are being heavily protected at this time, especially coming to the end of this cycle. Um, the Emperor is the energy of all the kings in the tarot. It's uh, a very just and fair leader energy. So for some of you, you could be pulling in like the Emperor energy as a divine counterpart. That's just for, a select few of you. Um for some others, what I'm picking up more so than that portion of the timeline is you're really stepping up into this Emperor energy, genders aside. it's about that energy. It's about really embodying that divine masculine energy and showing up in your life in that centered, controlled, um, leadership energy and really taking the reins on yourself and your experience in your life and really stepping up in embodying that energy. Then we've got the Two of Water, which is the Two of Cups. Confirmation. I don't know if you guys heard that, but um one of the kitties just knocked something over, so that was confirmation that there's definitely a divine counterpart or a significant union of some sort coming in this year for you. This it can be a pet. Um, it can also be a platonic, like a soul tribe connection, like a great friend, mentor. Um, yeah, it's just like it's a really beautiful union. Um, and then it's also forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. Okay, then we have number 16, life experience. And this one is Archangel Chamuel. So you say that. This is a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change and time to spread your wings. So yeah, with this major cycle coming to an end, I'm really picking up that you're going to be called to embody a new version of you and really step into this next newest highest version of yourself. And then with that we've got the World, which again is Archangel Michael, and it's a job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, the path toward enlightenment. That's awesome. Then we've got the 10 of Water, which is the 10 of Cups. Again, we've got that's emotional fulfillment. That's beautiful energy. A contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. Okay, we've got the 9 of Air that came out kind of sideways. So what I'm picking up for this is just a little side note of something to be aware of. So the 9 of Air is the 9 of Swords, and it is expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. So again, when I was talking a little bit about manifestation earlier of that, when you're expecting a certain outcome to happen and then it does, and then it's this like, well, see, I knew that was going to happen. It's more like I'm expecting this to happen, so I call it in and then it happens, and then that's where you get that self-fulfilling prophecy. So this is something to be aware of and just be mindful of, that you're not getting I feel like you would be more sucked back into that energy because I feel like you're really shifting out of that. So I think that's just more of like a side note of just something to be aware of if you start to feel yourself getting caught back in those yeah, because that's air energy again, so that's your mental space. So if you're feeling yourself kind of ruminating and going through those thought patterns that are leading you to those self-fulfilling prophecies, be mindful of that, be aware of that, and then do your best to shift into just different thought patterns. And it's not really about controlling your thoughts, it's about allowing different thoughts to come in and kind of replacing that type of mental energy. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the last one we've got is Two of Earth, which is just blank. Cups, wands. Holy moly. I just totally mentally blanked for a minute. Cups, wands. It's gone. Pentacles. Holy moly. Okay. Two of Pentacles. Oh, sorry. Okay. Which, yes. So I do. All right. Too much going on at once. The need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. And again, that's bringing me back to this perspective energy. That's the um shifting into looking at it from a different perspective so that you can come up with a different way of moving through those types of situations. So again, when I was talking about like trying to not trying to, shifting your perspective on, um, responsibilities and, things like that, sometimes it can just be a simple perspective shift that will change the entire experience. So again, if you're looking at, the dishes as an example, is a chore and something you have to do and blah, blah, blah. It's not fun. It starts that like, I'm always the one that has to do the dishes or whatever. It just starts that snowball of bleh. Instead, if you go, I get to do the dishes and have a clean kitchen, and I get to do the dishes because I have the ability to have my own dishes and cook my own food and have my own kitchen. It's a way to shift that entire experience, and then all of a sudden, maybe you're looking out the window and a bird flies by, and then you're, thinking about the birds. Like, it's a totally different experience, but you're doing the same thing. So yeah, that's that's really, really prevalent here. So, with coming to this close of the cycle, it's really gonna help you to shift your perspective and to approach certain things that maybe you've been really uh have like a lot of resistance towards. If you shift that perspective, it's really, really going to help. And there's more confirmation for that because there's fireworks going off. So there's some confirmation for you. Alrighty, Spirit. Anything else for the air signs? Nope. Okay. Alrighty. Well, with that, air signs, that is going to come to the end of your reading for 2025. Overall, I'm picking up awesome, awesome energy for you. So, yay! If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If this resonates for you, go ahead and leave me a comment below. You can also affirm this energy in the comments as well. Something like 2025 is going to be awesome. I'm going to, I'm ending the cycle or, whatever. You can affirm whatever you want in the comments, and it's a way to take some action behind those manifestations that you're bringing in. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and it'll just pop me up on your algorithm on YouTube when I post videos. So that's what that one does. It's gotten confusing with the memberships and everything else, so I just put that little side note in there. And with that, I wish you the best, air signs, and I will see you on the next reading. Bye.